Hello and welcome back to another game of Ostriv, or rather episode 2. Now, we left off when we were placing down our carpentry workshop, which we're going to need next year. We can speed up the game again, because there's still a lot of construction necessary to be done. Now, we got the housing problem solved, therefore we can move one guy back into the forestry here. I hope he's going to hire up there soon again. And there we go. And now they can in fact produce new logs by felling some trees. Okay, we got some houses here done, we got 2 more placed down here, and we also have the ones over there placed down here. In fact, restarting the game fixed that small graphical bug we had here. And yeah, now we have market stalls done here. However, we don't have anything to sell there yet. We're going to build one more house in the hopes that someone is going to settle into the town. And here we can already prepare stuff. Now, we can't just let it run. What we want to do now is, in fact, we need a manager for the farm here, and we also want to hire as many people as we can here, even though there's not much to do yet. Now, what we need is to make farms or plots for agriculture. The thing you normally look for is something like 25 to 25. It's a manageable size, and you want to have 6 fields of that size. So for example, like this one, we can then place another one here. It doesn't have to be exact, but it's just roughly what's good. Now you might ask, like, why 6 fields? Well, the reason for that is relatively simple. Then you can have 4 fields planted all the time and 2 fields lay fallow to regenerate minerals and stuff, which I'm going to show you in a sec. There we go. And we need some more. No, wait. We need to make sure that the openings are in the right direction. So... and winter has arrived, in fact. That's 4. And now we can make another one like here. That wasn't perfect, that's fine. And we can open up another one. In fact, we can combine them, or rather make them touch each other. Okay, that's apparently too close to the next one, so we have to... okay, that doesn't work. So we have to... let's just do it like... can we... yeah, it's a bit... it's a slightly different form now. That's fine. It was too close to each other here. Now, while they continue building houses here, what we need to do here is... do we have an... we need a manager. Maybe... we need someone who is educated. She is not. Is there nobody who is educated? 0. Interesting. Apparently we don't have anyone who is educated, which is going to be a problem. However, it's fine. And what we want to do here is normally you set up a crop rotation. And as soon as we have a manager, we can in fact do it. We don't want to plow the fields. However, what we want to do is set up the initial things it should produce. So we are going to not start with wheat, because wheat cannot be eaten immediately. Instead, we are going to start with buckwheat. And here too. And the next two are going to make potatoes. And the last twos are going to be fallow. And therefore we have to put them on fallow here. And next year we're most likely going to get a manager at some point. And then we can in fact start the crop rotation here. Now, the house is almost done here, which is one of the most beautiful sets here. Because you are basically in the bend of the river. There we go. Okay. The game is telling us that there's not enough food for sale before immigration can happen. Therefore, we need the granary. Because theoretically, we already have a lot of peas here. So maybe we can add the peas here. What else do we have? Pumpkins and cucumbers. He produced, so we are going to pick up cucumbers and what was the other one? Pumpkins. Pumpkins. There we go. And the other house, what did he produce? Pumpkins, horseradish, carrots. So other things, therefore we can add carrots and horseradish here. Horseradish? Where are you? There you are. Did you also produce anything? No, you finished up too late, but that's fine. Now the next one we are finishing is a granary here, in fact. We are going to need... 2 is fine here, in fact. But we are going to need 1 person for this job and this job. Therefore we have to reduce 2 here. Add 1 here. Also what we can already add is buckwheat and potato here. Which is going to be produced here. Now there we go. Now we can add someone here. Now, we want to buy the things they produce here. Therefore, we basically have to reproduce what we just added here. Peas, cucumbers, pumpkins, carrot and horseradish, but also the buckwheat and stuff like that. Therefore, let's just click everything. Carrots, they're also going to produce beetroot at some point. Also garlic. Horseradish we saw already. Onions they will produce at some point. Peas. And marrow most likely. And pumpkins. And then let's just leave it open for the rest here. Ah no, I forgot potatoes in fact. So let's just go for potatoes here. We are going to activate buy from local producers here, and we're going to put up a minimum of 100 for the moment. Therefore, they are not going to buy more than 100 or sell more than 100 to us for the moment. That's in fact more than enough, but like after 1 or 2 years, it might add up. And let's go. In fact, the farm will stockpile in the building a lot of the stuff it produces. Therefore, I'm not going to be worried about it. Now, most likely, yeah, there we go. We already have peas reserved here, and horseradish is also getting bought here and therefore brought into the store here. Carrots already got done here, and now we maybe have enough food available. Yes, perfect. And now theoretically people can move into the town because everything is green. And that's going to be very essential because we really, really need the jobs. And in fact we got a manager. Where did he come from? Interesting. So, yeah, with the next immigrants, we are in fact going to add a second worker to the smithy here. Yeah. Now, what we can do here now is, in fact, do a crop rotation. And if you check the attributes of each of the plants here, you can see that they have a different color scheme behind it, which is basically 3 nutrients or minerals in the ground. Now, we set up buckwheat here. Buckwheat requires mostly blue and yellow. Therefore, it doesn't really require anything of the orange or red one. What we could do, for example, is we could make sunflowers or potatoes together with it. So, and we can just add it together. This is like 20 and 60, and potatoes are 50 and 30. So added together, that's 50, 50, 60. Which is not going to require all the minerals it has in the ground, which is fine because we don't want to exploit the ground totally. Now, for example, a good combination you can do is buckwheat and wheat. So let's set it up here. Buckwheat and wheat. Now, of course, we want to have a little bit of, let's say, no, that's not what I wanted. I want to put wheat here and buckwheat here. So now we have a distribution over 2 years. Then we're going to need to let them fallow here. And then it can just restart again. We could also add another 2 here. For example, we could also set up here now that the next year after that we are going into potato and buckwheat, for example, again, and then fallow again, so that we have a 4 crop rotation here. In fact, let's set it up like this. So potato, buckwheat, fallow. The fallow fields later on can be herded by, for example, cows, which is also going to help with the refertilization. Now, we need more stuff, so let's just set up all of the fields here. We also want to do, for example, sunflower. Sunflower, for example, is not good combined with buckwheat, but maybe potato requires 50, 30, 0. So let's combine these 2. And then afterwards we definitely also want to dive into hemp. Yeah, let's use hemp and hemp. Hemp is going to be required to produce textiles. In fact, we could also build a second farm for that in the after the next year, so we could just focus this one on food. Now let's produce some barley too. So let's instead produce barley combined with 50 buckwheat and then fallow. And now the last one, which we want to set up here. So it's going to be fallow this year, and then we are going to go heavy into wheat on this one. So it's 50 and 60. Requires something. Yeah, the best is most likely buckwheat again. We're going to produce quite a lot of it in this case. But can't hurt, we can sell it. In fact, let's rotate them. So therefore we go into... Wait a second. We already have wheat up here 2 times, yes, but we don't have wheat back here. Okay, in this case, let's instead take barley here. Fallow, and then take wheat here. Come on. Buckwheat. Wheat. Buckwheat. There we go. Now all of them are active. And as we can see... Oh. Now we made a mistake. Now 4 fields would be fallow in 2 years. In fact, we need to put here a fallow. I made a small mistake. Fallow. Here needs to be fallow. And here needs to be the buckwheat. And in fact, we could put potato here and buckwheat here. And then we can barley here. Let's combine it with buckwheat. Like this. Now I got the feeling that we have a little bit too much of buckwheat in here. So maybe we can change some of it to potatoes, for example in here. Potatoes, barley, buckwheat, barley, buckwheat. Yeah, let's make more potatoes in this chain here. There we go. Okay, now what we don't have yet is a plow here. So we cannot plow our field because we don't have anything to make them yet, or we cannot buy them yet because we don't have anything to trade with yet. Also, we don't have anything for oxen yet, which is another thing we want to do later on. And we also don't want to manage seasonal workers yet. Seasonal workers are basically laborers which are there for harvesting season and stuff like that. You can, I think it's in the, can we do it in the forestry? No, they are all season workers. There are certain buildings which are seasonal. For example, if you build anything with fishing, the river is however frozen in the winter, therefore they can't work. Therefore they might be seasonal workers in the winter because they don't have anything to do, which you therefore could use for something else. However, there's no farm work here in the winter, of course, so you have to think about it. Not everyone will have a job in winter though. Family settling in our town, so someone has arrived and is going to increase our population. Now what we need to check again is how our food is doing and do we have enough water in fact. Yeah, it's looking good here. And there they come. And moving into the town. And these in fact brought grandmothers with them. So these are 6 people in that house now. Okay, what you also can see here, which is going down constantly, is our money, because we have to pay, of course, all workers, for example, the forestry guys here. And therefore, every household has an income, which is currently 5. So 2 people working is an income of 2 times 2.5. And that's something we have to manage at some point, but for that we are going to need a town hall before we can change taxations and stuff like that. Now we want to continue here with these 2 village houses on the river first, because I really want the garden vegetable production to get started, and then we can we can really use that. Now we can already see in the future that we are going to need another market stall here, because let's put it here, because we just set up stuff for potatoes, buckwheat, and barley. Now we're going to observe this one depending on what is not getting produced at some point. So for example, we are going to remove beetroot for the moment to add barley in here. It doesn't make sense to add wheat in here. No, in fact, we also don't need to add potatoes and buckwheat here, because they can still take it from... Yeah, the people from the market store can get it from the farm directly, so we don't need to move it into the granary first. So we can add the beetroot again and go through this if there's anything else we want to add. Cabbage, yes please. There's also cherries, apples, and apricots, but however, they are not getting produced early on. So maybe someone is going to produce honey at some point, which would be really, really nice. Therefore, let's put up honey in here too. And do the usual buying limits. There we go. So, I don't know what they are doing. Most likely something like strawberries or stuff like that, which we also don't have in here yet. However, we just need to observe and then adjust it a little bit. I don't want to build a second granary yet. Rex cards are wearing out. That's of course the... Let's in fact move it forward. So our cards here are closely to no longer usable. And therefore that's going to be a problem. We can also check here. Now resource supply. Yeah, they are moving resources by card. That's all fine. Okay, we still have jobs available. At least one job for 1 man. I don't know exactly where. We can also at some point kick him. Sorry for that. We can at some point kick him to just have a woman there too. I think that's possible. And then we can free up one more male or one more man to, for example, work in the carpentry, which is going to be a topic. Okay, let's go make a shortcut here, because we just need to wait for constructions to finish and then set up new stuff and continue building up the city. And of course wait for the spring weather. Okay, here we are again. The carpentry workshop is finished. Now we need to recruit someone, and we also have to activate preventive repairs. Therefore it can start repairing these cards here. It of course requires metal parts for that, therefore we are going to increase this to 15 now. And we need a worker for that. In fact, we can remove one from the building crew here. And let's wait until someone is added here. Come on, take it. You can't choose your job. Not yet. There we go. And now we can increase our jobs again here, and therefore open up vacancies for immigration. I do think one house is still empty. Yeah, there. It's still empty, and another one here is under construction and almost done. But he is now going to collect stuff. Oh. Okay, you went to the building crew. That's fine. We're going to add one here too, and just hope for the next family to arrive. And therefore then help us out with more jobs and more work. Yeah, and I think this is a good moment to make another cut, because now it's slowly turning into spring and it's going to be a very interesting first or proper year basically. Therefore, see you in the next episode.